From our target audience, we found what we needed to improve and what the audience liked and wanted to keep. So from this, we used test screenings to get immediate feedback from our audience so that we could effectively get to work on planning and working on the improvements that they give. And we used the focus group and a test screening just so we could get the feedback as soon as possible. Because, instead of waiting a week for a response via a survey, and for using the focus group, as I just mentioned, it let us keep up to date with the work we were doing, and it let them continue to keep us up to date on what they thought was working, and so we made sure that our work was being perceived correctly through the audience's eyes, so we asked them if it was obvious that it was a thriller, and we asked them what we should do to improve, like how clear the plot is and how clear the genre is. And we've uploaded the video of the feedback to YouTube and the first draft on the film. They're also on previous blog posts, so they can be accessible. We filmed our audience feedback so we could go back and listen to it again to ensure that we haven't missed anything, and that and so that everything that they've said is clearly in this video, so we can always go back to it and make sure that we haven't missed anything. But the main bit of feedback we got from our first draft was that they were mostly confused about who the hooded figure was, because in our first draft we had missed a big scene because we couldn't get hold of the footage, and so it was only a small amount of time with the hooded figurine, so the audience were confused about who she was and why she was there. They understood that she was kind of like his depression, his mental illness. They understood that, but they didn't quite get what her purpose was. So that was obviously something we had already thought about, but they reiterated how confusing it was. So we made sure that when we did refilm and got that section back into our final piece, we made sure to get them to watch it again, and they all said it was much clearer and that they all understood her purpose and her role. And if I had to do this process again, I would have probably have thought out more kind of possible shots beforehand, because there are some that we found while we were on set, which we realised what opportunities we had when we were there, which sometimes meant to us being a bit kind of not unprepared, but we weren't working as efficiently as we could have been. And there was one shot which was originally point of view, which we turned to a close-up because it looks better, and one of our audience members told us that she suggested this shot change for us, which when we tried it out we all fell in love with it, and it just we feel it adds to the film. This is a shot that I hadn't thought of before the process. So this point of view didn't work because you could see the shadow on the floor with the person with the arms out. So it took away from the naturalism. So when we changed it to a close up, the shot looked much better because it was more sophisticated and steady. And because of the yellow line going through it, it gave it kind of a point, a direction, which contrasted as well with the surroundings of one bright colour against the greys. So we think this shot is more sophisticated and it adds to the suspense, as all you see is the character stepping over the yellow line, which then makes the audience think that he's going to jump, but we don't say, so it's left to their interpretation. So in conclusion, from the audience feedback, I've learned how important their opinions are in approving my product, as they've been able to spot mistakes that I've missed. So with one of the shots as well, there was a bit of one of our bags in the background which we had missed but an audience member picked up on, which was handy. I also allowed for me to make changes based on what their opinions are, making the film more likely to appeal to them. So I added in the cemetery scene, and so this is useful because it allows for my projects to specifically target the audience in a way which would get their attention and would convince them to watch the film. And this goes along with the poster as well, because there are some bits that I had missed in there, but I didn't notice that you couldn't quite be read because the words blended in with the background. So just by simple moving it down, it was much clearer for the audience to read. Although obviously I knew what it said, and from staring at it for so long, I hadn't realised that it wasn't clear to anyone else. So by using the audience member, they picked up on it and they said it wasn't clear enough.